In this video, I'll be discussing why and how to use projects in RStudio. So first, you might be wondering what the heck is an RStudio project? This is a tool within RStudio that simply it organizes all the files for a particular project in one common directory or folder on your computer. It's a pretty straightforward idea. You don't necessarily have to use a project to do this, but there are a few extra little features that make RStudio projects helpful. Um, they automatically set the project folder as the working directory, which is, very useful and helps you pick up where you left off. And something I forgot to list here, but is also useful, is that there are RStudio projects for different kinds of things that already come with a lot of template stuff built in. We won't be looking at that here, but it's another good feature. So why use RStudio projects? The main reason is that it just makes your life easier. I know people who've been using RStudio for decades and for some reason never use our projects, and I don't understand why. I think for them it's just like, oh, here's one extra thing I need to learn. I already know how to do all these things. But frankly, I think that's just doing it the hard way. If you start using projects from the beginning, it gets rid of a lot of the other problems annoying technical problems that come up. It's really helpful if you need to switch between different coding projects, or you can even have like different project windows and separate R sessions open at the same time, which can be really handy. It makes it a lot easier to share your code, basically partly because of the way that a project sets up the default working directory, the where R is reading and writing files, it's all in the project directory, so you can take that and stick it somewhere else, and then everything where you're telling R to look for a file is going to be the same. You don't have to like change the code to map to somebody else's system. Everything's self-contained. And it really can up your data science game for, you know, not a whole lot of extra work. Um, Projects can be used are used in version control in R, which I will talk to in another video. They're also used to make R packages, which I won't talk about, but that's what allowed me to make an R package, and has a lot of cool built-in stuff. So now that I've gone through the what and the why, I will get into the how. So I'm in my lovely Windows sandbox. I'm going to open up RStudio. All right. So within RStudio, the simplest way to make a project is to just go to File, New Project. And now there are several options here. So let's say I already have a folder where I've started, let's say I have my data saved there, I have some Word files, and I just want my analysis to live there too. I can put make that existing directory into an R project if I want to. So I'm just going to make a folder just for demonstration purposes. So if I do File, New Project, Existing Directory, I just have to browse to that directory on my computer. It happens to be in my documents. It could be anywhere. I just click on that folder, open, create project. Now it's switching to project. So this is starting a new RStudio session. And you notice here the files thing is different. Now, instead of showing my home directory, it's showing inside of my project directory. And there's one file here that's automatically created. This is the R project file. So this is just all the little things that are RStudio uses to help keep track of stuff. Um, so then if I want to go out of this project, I can just close it. As that was for our start with script. Close project. There we go. So I've closed the project. Now I'm out. So we still see my project directory there, but now we're back in my home folder. Another way to create a project is to use, let's say you don't have an existing project directory. This is a new thing. Um, you can go to New Directory, and here you see a lot of options. Most of these are uh, just contain templates for different kinds of our products. We're not going to go into that right now. You just do new project. And so basically, you could give it a name. Yes, I say my project, new directory, and you can choose where to put it. So let's say I want to keep it in my documents folder, or if you wanted to put it inside of another folder, you could. Um, I'll just keep it how it is. I'm going to ignore these two options for now because I'll make another video where I show you how to use Git with this. So I'm just going to say create project, and it's switching to that project. And then now I am in that directory. Um, if I make a script, I just auto save it, my new script.r, that's going to show up in this directory. If I go to open a file, it's going to go to this directory first. If I interact with files through code, which you'll be learning how to do, and I generally recommend if you have workflows that involve saving and loading files to have the code do it so it's reproducible, um, this is the starting place. So, for example, I can this function ls lists all the no, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to list dot files. There we go. So this is by default stays in my working directory. Run that. And this is going to, by default, list all the files that are in my working directory. Now, I can I can change my working directory if I want to. Um, there might be reasons to do that. You can do that from the RStudio interface by navigating. Let's say I wanted my work directory to be one level above, so I could set this as my working directory, and then if I run, um, let's do it from here. If I run list files again, now, I'm a level up. Um, Generally with projects, I recommend kind of keeping everything relative to the project as the home directory. It will just make your life easier and keep everything self-contained. Um, but generally, once you're doing that, it's really no extra work. One thing I do recommend, so, as you're working, you might like have objects and you might have plots and, what have you. Um, and I have this script open, maybe I have, another script open, and this script I'm also doing stuff, whatever. All these things, you know, I might have like multiple scripts going, I might have objects in my environment. So when I exit out of my project, let's see what happens. So it's asking me to quit R session, save workspace image to my project new directory R data. So this is actually something that's very useful to mention. So if I click save, that means that everything in my environment will still be there next time I open up this project in RStudio. That might seem like a good idea, but I actually recommend against that. I always say don't save. And so now, if I open up that project again, I think by default RStudio will open up the last project you have worked on, excuse me. And you can also go to File, where is it? Open project area, open project, recent projects. Um, but you'll notice my scripts are there. So whatever scripts I was working on are still open, which is helpful for picking up where you left off. But my environment is empty. And I recommend doing that because sometimes, you lose track of when you made something in a script and you have steps that depend on other steps. And if everything's there, everything's loaded, it's working great, but actually you have it in the wrong order and you end up running into problems. So just one workflow thing I recommend is always just starting with a clean environment every time you open a project. So um, yeah, I think that's it in terms of our projects. The next thing I will show you is how to incorporate how to use GitHub version control through our projects.